Hi, and welcome to Getting Cozy and Comfortable with Your Money. I'm your host, Linda the Money Mentalist, and joining me today, I have the lovely Tanya Unkovich.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm really good. Now, I was actually just thinking, how many years have we known each other?
I think since about 1991, to be honest.
Yep, I think it goes back that far.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really cool because we both come from a background as accountants and we have both morphed off into different directions.
Mm.
But I think at heart, we still are kind of the accountants in there, aren't we?
Oh, once an accountant, always an accountant. Our books are always balanced and home. I'm sure yours are as well, right?
Yeah, I seem to spend an awful lot of time doing it, though.
Yeah. No, it's a great tool to have, isn't it?
It certainly is. So apart from being an accountant, Tanya was also a Tony Robbins mentor, and you now specialise in coaching. So just give me a little snippet of your bio about how that has morphed from being an accountant into the work that you now do.
Oh gosh, well, there was a little bit of a segue there because I went and studied to be a therapist because I had some of my own things that I needed to deal with, particularly
Right.
grief from infertility, and then my husband died of cancer. So I really needed to find out who am I again in life. And
Right.
when Paul passed away, I went from counseling into more life coaching because I needed to know where am I going. And so a lot of it was for me, but then I just kept getting more clients and started helping people find their way in life as well. So that's how it actually happened for me. Yeah.
And you also have a little radio show of your own as well, which is pretty cool too. On
Well,
radio.
yes, I'm a regular on Radio Rema, so that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Coaching through the radio. I love it. I love radio, actually.
Yeah. Cool. Well, look, it's fantastic that you've agreed to join me here because, money is a bit of a taboo subject. And I think too, a lot of what we get in the media, I think is kind of negative about money. It's about, how you've got to be frugal and how you can't do this and you mustn't do this. And if you want to go ahead, to me, it's all about sacrifice. And for me, I think money, it should be fun. We shouldn't be scared of our numbers. We should be actually wanting to know what's going on because let's face it, money is the longest relationship we're ever going to have. So why not make it your best one?
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Fear not the financials, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if it makes it any easier for us because we come from that background of being accountants. I don't necessarily know that it does.
I don't think so either, to be perfectly honest. I think having that accounting background gives us a certain element of discipline. But unless you've got a healthy relationship with money, then, the money, you might be good at making it, but you're not good at holding on to it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's quite a difference, isn't there?
There is a huge difference, and I certainly fall into that bucket of not holding on to it very well in my past life as well. So yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from with there. Okay, so let's just warm up. We're going to have a couple of quick questions here. I already know the answer to the first one. Dogs or cats?
Oh, cats, yes. Thomas in particular, right? My obsession with my cat Thomas. So
and as we've just said, I know he's on the desk right there beside you, so he's
on the desk, but I might have to get him down because he's visually impaired and he can't get down. So I'm at my stand-up desk. So if you hear a thud, it's Thomas falling off.
Oh, right, okay. Favorite song?
Oh, look, there's this song by an artist called Lauren Daigle. She's a Christian artist, actually, and it's called You Say. It's all about self-worth.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll have to look that one up. Cool. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So let's get into the money questions.
Yes.
So a question that I always like to ask everyone, to clients when I first meet them, is what does money mean to you?
Well, money for me actually is it's something that gives me choices. And one thing that I've always learned about money is that if I'm going to be frightened of it, then that's not going to be a good thing. And I don't know where that came from, but it was something that I learned very young. And so I decided to always have this belief that money was my friend. And I used to kind of say that, and I had this little mantra, and I started saying it very early in life: money comes easily and freely to me. Right. And so yeah, it gives me choices, it gives me freedom. But there's also that an attachment to money. It's about having a good balance, isn't it, on your attachment to money?
Yeah, it is, because sometimes with choices also comes responsibility too, doesn't it? Being responsible for yourself and potentially for others as well.
Big time.
With money. Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of women, and there is a lot of gender bias around how we think about money, but for a lot of women, the first word that comes into their head is actually that one, security. So is giving you choices also give you that feeling of security as well, or is that not really something that resonates that much with you, that one?
Oh, look, it's interesting. The word security wasn't the first word that came up for me when you asked me that question, but most definitely there is the security of having it there. But now it's gone more into choices for me, I suppose.
Yeah.
I feel I just have this belief that I will always be abundant. And because I hold on to that strong belief, I think maybe that's where I get the security from. I'll always be provided for.
Yeah.
So that's where I go, well, okay, knowing that, how can I best use money? How can I help someone else? How can I contribute? How can I enjoy money? We're only on the earth for a short time, may as well have fun with it, right?
Oh, look, and I am so pleased that you've said that, because, that really does resonate with me as well. And I think particularly just coming through what we have done, where we actually weren't able to spend money. And it's been really interesting having conversations about, well, what did you really miss? And what did you spend on when you were able to spend? And yes, and what's been kind of interesting is some people haven't actually yet gone and spent on what they really missed and what was really important to them. They've had the takeaways and the coffees and stuff like that, but they haven't really thought about that, I guess, that deeper belief around what the money really is there for and what it is there to do. And I guess, again, from our accounting background, we were very good at the numbers and putting them into boxes. But I don't know about you, but I never had a conversation with a client like this about, well, what does it mean to you? Where do you want to go with it? It was all about what's your profit and loss and what's your tax bill. And I think we all need to look at money from a very different perspective now, don't we?
Absolutely. And that's an interesting point, actually, because I'm not sure if back then I used to have those conversations either on, what did you want it for? Why do you want it? But it's something that I used to do for myself. And, at 16, I remember my mum and dad were going to take us back to the former Yugoslavia for our very first international holiday, very first. And so I had about 2 years to save for that. And I had a very strong reason why. And for me, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to do all this shopping. And so I saved and saved and saved, but I had a really strong reason why. But I never used to ask my clients that, interestingly. I do now, but back then I didn't.
I know, it's really interesting, isn't it? Okay, so that's cool. So for you, money means choices. I love that. That's fantastic. Okay, moving on to our next little question, which is always kind of a bit about relationship too. If you were dating money, what would money say about you?
Money would probably say, man, she looks after me well. She cooks for me and I've got a big feed for me. Money would probably get a little bit over-nurtured, I'd say, and I would have to learn how to leave money alone to make sure it's... Yeah, well, isn't that interesting? Because I'm very conservative with money now. I make sure that it's safe. I don't take big risks. I make sure it's somewhere where I know that I've got an element of control over it, so probably, money might get a bit smothered with me if they were dating me. They'd never want to leave, though. They'd get really well taken care of.
That's good to know. And where do you keep, as in like a wallet or a purse? Do you actually love handbags and purses, and you want to keep that money looking somewhere swish as well? I mean, I know we don't have a lot of cash now, but
I try to carry the least amount possible with me. So this is pretty much it now: the phone and the Food Town card, the credit card, and that's about it, and my driver's license. So I'm really minimalist now with that, and I make sure I have a very small handbag so I can't put anything else in it.
Right. Cool.
So, it doesn't need to be pretty for me anymore. Once upon a time, yes, but not now.
Right. Okay, cool. So money would actually attach itself to you in a loving way because you give it a lot of love and care and attention.
I do, actually. I always have. Yeah. And kept an eye on it. Make sure it doesn't step out of line as well, you know?
Yeah. Did you have a piggy bank when you were little?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But I had a savings account. I do remember that. So
Yeah.
I remember saving. I was a great saver. That's one thing my mum taught me, was how to save. So I
Yeah.
do remember. And I used to love seeing those numbers go up. You know, you'd go and get the
Yeah.
printout and things.
Yeah, I know. And I actually still have the piggy bank that I had when I was little. And it's this vibrant, it's this kind of little bear thing. I actually should pull it out for one of these little sessions.
Yeah.
And it's this really vibrantly coloured little bear. And he was so cute. And I've still
Oh.
got it. And you know, the bung at the bottom, it's starting to get a bit worn because obviously I was pulling it, maybe I was pulling it out more than I was putting.
Oh, okay. So it's losing a bit. Excuse me. A little
That's
bit of
okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you could turn back the clock,
yeah.
how would you have used money differently? And maybe what's the biggest lesson you have learned from that a particular experience that you can think of?
Mm. Well, this is my personal experience. The best decisions I've ever made around money were always to do with property.
Right.
So if I was to turn back time when I had some spare money, I do wish that I bought another property back then,
Right.
15
Okay.
years ago. So that is something that, gosh, I don't kick myself for it, but I go, wow, that would have been a really good investment, and I didn't do it. So I suppose there was a part of me that felt the security of seeing it there in the bank, and I didn't quite want to take that risk by getting another property, but that would have been a very smart thing to do.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think it's interesting. I hear that one a number of times when I ask this question is, yeah, a number of people have kind of said, oh, you know, either mum or dad said I should do it, you know, but I was a little bit worried about it, so I didn't. Or mum and dad said I shouldn't, you know, I shouldn't do it. It's too risky, and I didn't do it, and I wish I had. So yeah, and I think do you think, again, partly that's because, again, you know, as accountants, we were taught to be sort of conservative? So was there an element of that career path thing coming through as well?
Yeah, I believe so. It was at a time of big uncertainty for me too. It was when Phil just passed away. So I can now go back and say, actually, yeah, I wanted that bit of security. I just felt more secure. So that was probably the deciding factor for me. I didn't have that certainty in myself, in my life, in my future. I didn't know where things were going. So that was what drove that decision. In hindsight, well, I'd do it now, definitely. I'd absolutely do it now. But I've got a bit more confidence and certainty in myself there, though. Big difference.
Yeah. So also, I mean, life experience comes into it as well, doesn't it?
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And I think when it does, it's interesting, you know, because when we talk about we have a relationship with money, and that relationship with money impacts all of the decisions and everything that we do, you know, regardless of who we take advice from, we still tend to come back to that, what does money mean to me, whether we're conscious of it or not. Yeah, and I think through this little series that we're going to be, you know, that I'm doing, I'm going to find, you know, there's going to be some really different and interesting ways that people interpret what money means, and then how they've actually applied that in their life. And I guess that's really the conversation that I think we should be having more often. I mean, certainly as our roles as coaches now, we probably are having those conversations, and we definitely are having those conversations.
And what I find too is often people don't want to talk about money because there's an element of shame for them there, and they don't want to go there, and that's fine. But gosh, once you clear those blocks, you know, the money will flow differently.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, we've both been fortunate enough to see sort of both sides of it, haven't we? We've seen it from our accountant where it's purely numbers driven, and through your coaching work and my coaching work, we've actually seen how it fits together, and how the two work together when you start to apply your thinking to it as well. Yeah.
Definitely. It is a big factor, isn't it?
It is.
And you know, the whole thing about self-worth and, you know, discipline. Am I worthy to have money? And if I've got money, am I supposed to give it all away, or can I enjoy it? All sorts of stuff goes in through our heads, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fascinating. Okay, so I'm going to do another little quick fire question at you now.
Oh, good.
If you had $1,000 to spend right now, what would you spend it on?
Well, it's my birthday next week, so I would go and buy new Nikes, new flannelette pajamas, cozy stuff and slippers, all that juicy winter stuff that I always tend to go out and buy for myself for my birthday. So there you go. That's probably what I do, truthfully. It would be all about me.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it would be all about me.
Yeah. And what's your most frivolous purchase been?
Most definitely when I was riding motorbikes, I had a motorbike, so
Right.
that would most definitely be it. Since then, no, I've sold my motorbike. I've decided I don't want to go solo on the roads anymore on a bike. But if you would have asked me 15 years ago, you know, can you see yourself ever riding a motorbike? I would say never, 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 never. So there you go. Never say never. I went out and bought myself a motorbike.
Oh, well, that's good, because it's nice to hear it was a big ticket item.
It was a big ticket item, yeah, and I bought it so quickly as well, you know. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with it, but I decided, no, I think I want to stay upright for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's been absolutely fantastic. I really loved our conversation. So, I mean, you are also a businesswoman, and so we are going to pop some links and things down below so our listeners can find you. But what is the easiest way for people to make contact with you if they would like to find out more and come and talk to you?
Well, just go to my website, tanyaunkovich.com, and or Google me, you'll find me that way, and it's Tanya with a Y.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. And we will be back with more conversations very shortly. Bye for now.